tuahine, the kupu, the word whenua.
Aye.
Can you talk to the people, please, about
It's
the
fine.
sacred word whenua?
For me, e rua ngā, what's the word? Definitions, I suppose. Whenua is like the land, papatuanuku, the whenua. But also the whenua is a woman's Whare Tangata, a woman's womb. And so her placenta, so when she, births, the whenua comes out, and then, after the baby obviously, and then goes back into the whenua. So, yeah, there's two meanings for whenua. So it's a super, super tapu word in Te Ao Māori. And, yeah.
In terms of giving birth, what is something that is crucial in the giving birth process from the points of view of the wahine and the tāne and the pepi and the wairawhānau? What's crucial? What's something that is crucial during the birth?
Like the actual birth of the baby?
What's a tikanga or a thing that you as a mother would not overlook or would encourage?
Kia ora. I would just, that I would not overlook. Boy, that's a big question, but also simple. 4 children, had 4 children. They're now aged between 20 and 30. I've only been pregnant 4 times in my life, and I had 4 live births, and they're all running around on the earth right now trying to fulfill their dreams and plans for their lives. But I think what is really critical in the whole process is a manaakitanga and aroha, and the importance that every decision of how we engage with one another has an impact. It lands somewhere. The way we speak to one another, the way we care for one another, how a woman is cared for during the process of her trimesters, how her pregnancy is even received and accepted, conception. And as a woman of faith, I believe there are 7 key points, actually, from conception to what happens in a wahine's womb, to actually the birth, to that childhood, to then puberty, that teenagehood, to then what happens when you marry, and then what happens when you grow old. And a lot of those key points to engage with actually happen quite young. But I think that I took for granted. I forgot that moments have impact, and that's really important to remember. People can call it the yin and yang, people can call it sowing and reaping, but everything that we do with one another has impact. So even if a wahine has a pepe and the tāne, the papa's not involved, how she engages in kōrero with her pepe on the bringer of that DNA initially, even if he was left her desolate and abandoned, even if he never knew that she had his child, how she speaks to her child about that tāne is critical in the identity of that child, because a wise man once taught me that children are amazing recorders of history but poor interpreters. So what we think as adults we're downloading, which is factual, can become either building blocks or stumbling blocks to children who are navigating the whole whānau space. And one thing that I must say, one thing in that is, in this day and age, it's far more critical to understand the impact of peer parenting and the power of the third party that can actually strip really good parenting down to its core if we don't understand the impact that peers have on one another. So I just think simply to your question, Bub, is really that the choices we make in that process, they will land. And where do we want them
Solid.
to land might be a very empowering question to keep at the forefront. These were things I didn't know, darlings. I didn't know this stuff when I first started, but I sure do know it now. And that's just my simple whakaaro for now, for that.
Talking about crucial information, what's something crucial for a taitama wahine, a young wahine going through puberty? What's something crucial for her to know?
You know, you're not the only one going through puberty.
Oh,
It's not, you're not the only one, but there's a million women before you and there's a million women after you that are going to go through this. You're not alone. It's not disgusting. It's not strange. It's just different. It's this new stage in your life that you're going for, like towards. Don't freak out, man. Chill out. You're all good. You actually survive it. Because there can be sometimes a tapu over puberty, a tapu over having your period. But what can we do to take that tapu away? It's not. It's actually natural. It's actually your tupuna before you actually went through it as well. And how do we navigate that now, though, in the 21st century?
yeah, and can I just please just add to that that puberty is more than just bleeding for a few days per month and hoping that you can afford the tampons and the pads and hoping that your mum or an auntie or someone navigates you through that space. Puberty is actually the evolvement of womanhood, and that I think a lot of Indigenous cultures have been stripped of those initiation processes that actually say to a young woman, you are coming into something phenomenal, and it's important that you understand that, and those identity spaces land on something beautiful. So it's more than just, yo, I got my mate, you know, I was bleeding, I can't swim, or, you know, have you got a spare tampon, or, oh my goodness, is it showing through my
skirt,
which I chose to be white, I'm wearing all white today, all that sort of stuff. I think Selena was really wise. Try not to freak out. But it is so much more than just having your mate every month. Or as my PE teacher called it, the dreaded lurgy, for heaven's sake. It's actually about the transition of what your tinana is doing. And that is really important, to have some wisdom and some nurture and some influence into that space, because fear during that transition will turn into terror when you're a little bit older, and that terror can turn into making extremely stupid, harmful decisions. So that's what I would add to that. Yeah, that's what I would add.
Have you made a stupid decision in your life?
Absolutely not. No. 1000% yes. And the stupid decisions weren't, because I really love that quote by Maya Angelou, a beautiful African-American woman, where she says, when you know better, you do better. I've added to that, when you know better, you be better. And out of the being, the doing comes better. I don't think it's stupid when you literally did not know something. You had no knowledge or intimate information of what to do. I think stupid is when you knew not to do it and you did it anyway just for that moment. I think when you have the knowledge of the implications and you've gone stuff it. And I think what's important to ask ourselves is, what are you actually stuffing? Because usually it's yourself. And, you know, I don't mean to be crude, I just want to be straight up. Sometimes when we as wahine have said stuff it in our past, what we have stuffed ourselves with is the wrong man. And that has whakapapa ramifications that are stupendous, that we can't even begin to understand. So I have made many stupid mistakes, and those are the ones I regret the most. And still in the process in my 50s of nurturing myself when I didn't have access to it, to reassure myself that everything will be okay. And I'm still on that journey, but I'm on it with wisdom this time. Kia ora.
To say that I haven't mucked up would be a lie. But I also like that quote. When you know better, you do better. The thing is that the mistakes I've made have come with a lot of shame.
Yeah.
And so it's navigating the shame through from 15 into my 30s. But it's with the knowledge of who I am now and the wisdom that I have to walk with now to talk to the little girl at 15 and say, girl, I got you. I'm going to make you proud of who you're going to grow up to be. Take my hand. Let's do better. Because when we know better, we be better, we do better.
Yeah, kia ora.
What's something crucial for a man to know when his wahine is looking after their newborn baby? And the tāne and wahine are together, making it work, doing the best. What's crucial for the man to know to support him in making this work?
For me, I mean, I can only speak from where I am in my life at the moment. Tanema, what you speak and what comes out of your mouth is important. Because what we say, like life and death is in your tongue. And so much more for the woman that loves you or the woman that wants to be with you, the words that you speak. Whether it be a papa, whether it be an uncle, whether it be, like men can speak and they speak into a woman's life, and it's easy for them to do that. So tanema, just watch what comes from your mouth. Make sure it's uplifting, because life and death is in your tongue. Nurture her. Speak life into her. Because man, I know when a man speaks to me, like affirming me, and I feel like I can take on the world. But if we turn that around, that same man can also make me feel like whakama. That same man can also make me feel like not enough. So it's like a double-edged, it's like a double-edged sword. Yeah.
Do you have a comment, Fire, on manipulation?
I most certainly do. Manipulation. It's actually evil. I think there's a good manipulation, like, you know, how you manipulate your limbs, or you move them a certain way for your own advantage. There's a good way to manipulate things in your life. You manipulate funds in order to save. That's just, manipulation can be a good context. But usually manipulation means you have made a decision to use someone and to navigate them to serve your purposes without the consideration of the impact on them, or you've decided to do that fully knowing what the impact is on them. And I think wahine are masters of it. Do I think it's just, without genderising it, is it anyone can manipulate? But I think because we're so powerful at nurture and influence, I think we can use that tool, that skill, that habit in a way that will never ever ultimately serve us. And for us who have tamariki, when we manipulate children, one day that child grows up to be their own deciders of their destinies, and I think children are looking for where truth and light and love is, where Aroha is, and they will turn their backs, or they will not trust people who do manipulate them. So manipulation is, I think it can become a habit, and it takes a lot of courage to step out of that sort of way. I know wahine who use their bodies to manipulate situations. They use certain clothing to manipulate situations. They know the impact of their effect. I know people who use their positions, their titles, to manipulate others into making decisions that they probably never would have. I must say that it has really been something I've tried really hard to do. I have been very rarely, I'm even trying to think when I've been called a manipulator, but in that effort not to be, I've also been bullied. So, so in that thing to be rangi marie or to pursue a life of relational peace or things like that, not wanting to manipulate things for things to be tika and pono, I've learnt some pretty tough lessons. So the antithesis, I think, of nurture is manipulation, and we got to get on top of that. So kia ora.
Antithesis means opposite.
Yeah, kia ora. Or the opposite, yes.
The opposite of nurture is manipulation. There's a significant kōrero tēnā koe. He kōrero tāpiri. Something to add to
Oh, cool. Awesome, fun.
Sure.
How can I add on to that? Right?
Awesome to add on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the word crisis. Are we experiencing a crisis?
When are we not? In Aotearoa.
Are there issues now that wahine and tāne are facing that are unique to this time?
Yes.
Such as?
For me, it would be the lack of fatherhood. The lack of fatherhood, because fatherhood, a wise woman once told me, who's actually just sitting over there, a fatherhood fixes everything. Fatherhood fixes everything. And I can only know that because I didn't grow up with a father. And so I've been searching my whole life for that love. And so just how much a father figure, or an actual father, biological father, just how much their choices affect their tamariki, actually affect the generations after them. And so for me, that's a crisis that's in our generation, because there's not a lot of that. There's not a lot of fatherhood. And that's what a lot of tāne, a lot of wahine of today are searching for, that love of a dad. And so, yeah.
Do you love your biological father?
Awesome. Thanks for that. I've actually had to walk through a lot of my own issues, and do I love him? I thank him for bringing me into this world. What I understand is that he's made choices that have affected me, but that doesn't necessarily reflect on me, because growing up a lot I was like, why hasn't he chosen me? Why is my dad not here? Why is he not my the savior? Like, why is he not here? Does he not see how awesome I am? What have I done? What did I do for him not to be here?
Yeah.
And for a long time, and I'm saying a long time, I'm 35, 36 now, and I'm talking for 34 years, I was like, why? Why did you not choose me? Why did you not come for me? To forgiving him and saying, nah, I actually am finding my identity, wahine ma, finding my identity in who I am, and being like, you know what, Papa, actually, I'm awesome. And whatever you've gone through in your past and whatever issues you have, that doesn't reflect on me. I'm here. I'm awesome. You could choose me, but you don't. But that's okay. So back to your question, do I love my dad? No, I don't.
Kahore.
I don't. Because love is tapu, yo. Love is a doing word. And he had done nothing for me besides for bring me into this world. But do I have sympathy? Do I have empathy towards him? Of course. Who am I to withhold forgiveness from a man? Who am I to hold grievances or whatever? Nah. So I freely give forgiveness to him. But I can't actually say, to be honest, I can't actually say that I love him. I don't know him the way that I know other people in my life, the way that I know my whānau, my tribe. So, not yet, but there's hope, eh? Not yet. There was a moment a couple of weeks ago where I saw a son that didn't know his father, didn't have a relationship with his father, stand up in front of 40 people and declare, speak to his dad and call him dad for the first time. And I sat there thinking, that could be me one day with my dad.
Yeah.
Standing there and saying, I accept you and I choose you.
Yeah.
Even though 36 years ago you didn't choose me.
Yeah.
So there's always redemptive things in our lives. And so I'm just hoping that one day that's going to be me.
I have to acknowledge the toughness. Tough comes in all shapes and sizes, doesn't it? Sometimes people translate the word aroha as love. Not always accurate.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Would it be fair to say you have aroha for your biological father?
Of course.
Kia ora.
But, yeah. No, of course, yeah.
I think aroha is going to be an ingredient which saves our generation and therefore our future. Aroha is, in a way, bigger than love. My fellow New Zealanders. Paia, he kōrero?
I think aroha isn't just like love ya, I love you. I think aroha says that how I choose to see you, I will enhance your mana because of who I am. That how I see you and sense you, I get to choose how I project that onto you. That aroha is a word of intimate value and also colloquial value, but it's deep, it's a world, it's not just a word. I think a lot of Māori words are, I'm a beginner te reo Māori speaker, and they take me into worlds that have been misunderstood, so it's not a flippant kupu.
Yeah.
So when I text aroha to someone, I know exactly what I'm saying because I'm intentional with that word. And when I send it out, what I'm saying is that I see you, I send this with the knowledge of what I'm sending to you, and I own that. So I think aroha that's a really good point actually, Bob.
Yeah.
Can you make a comment now, please, Whare, on touch?
What immediately comes to mind is that I think there are a lot of people who are touch hungry and don't understand the phenomena of it. And so there's a lot of words I could say about touch, like I can feel the way anybody touches me. So whether it's casual or not, whether it's on my arm, whether it's on I can feel the essence of it. And you know, here's one thing about touch, is I absolutely, I have the power to choose whatever that word means to me. And I also know when it's uncomfortable, and I know when it's, the scariest ones for me are when someone touches me and I knew they saw me and I didn't give them permission to see me. And you know that, like, that squeeze on the shoulder, that's like, are you okay? And I'm like, oh my goodness, what the heck? How did you even know that? But it was just that, you know, like I get it. Or, but there are sometimes I'll put my foot out to my husband and I'll just say one word to him and it's skinship. And it doesn't mean a foot massage. I actually know the texture of my husband's hands. And so when he touches me, because of the power that I have loaned him to be my intimate companion on this earth, when he touches me, it's actually healing. And he just rubs the top of my foot, and something in my soul in me goes, I'm home. And I think we have a generation that doesn't understand the power of non-sexual touch, that does not understand the power of nurturing touch, and that touch is skin, and skinship is really powerful. And I think we need to have more kōrero around that very simple word. It's a very profound question.
Yeah. He kōrero tuahine.
Kao. I think just to add on to that, guys, just be careful who touches you, yo. Because that's like, don't be fooled by just like how impactful that could be. Because one touch to leads to another touch, leads to whakapapa, that leads to your being a grandma. So watch out for that. Like it just leads on to so much other things if we're not wise, and who we let in our circumference, let around us in our circle.
Could I just add to that? Because I know that our time is coming to an end, but could I just add to it? Sometimes someone doesn't even have to physically touch you to touch you. Otherwise, we wouldn't have so many connections to what's online and multimedia. Sometimes someone can look at you and you feel deeply impacted and deeply touched. Someone can send you a message and you can start crying, or you can start laughing, or you can get furious. That's being touched. Sometimes you can watch something online and something physiologically changes within you. That's been touched. I want to really encourage you the power of what goes into your eye gate and what goes into your ear gate. And that when someone says something to you and somehow they can say something that touches a part of you that no one's ever seen or heard or acknowledged or empowered, that can be far more memorable, far more powerful than someone that you've slept with for 10 years. So touch is more than just the physical. Touch is the gateway to something on the inside of us. And I'm just thinking about how important the subject is and how we need to kōrero about it. Not to be know-alls about touch, but to actually widen the kōrero so that we add to common sense and knowledge and wisdom and tools in our kete for how to deal with our relationships with ourselves and with other people. Kia ora.
An encouragement for our young wahine in their early 20s.
You'll get through this as well. This too shall pass. Whatever you're going through, I sit here as a 36-year-old woman saying, talk, kōrero. Talk to somebody that you trust. What you're going through, you're actually not alone. Don't feel isolated. Don't think that it's just you. Oh, it's just me that's going through this. Nah, it's not.
Yeah.
It's like a lie that we're told. Oh, it's just it's just you. You're just the one going through this. And so you isolate yourself, wahine. You isolate yourself and you take yourself and you pull yourself out of relationship with people because you think that this little thing, only you know how to get out of it. Only you are dealing with it. But I want you to know, as soon as you open your mouth and as soon as you bring that thing into the light, that's sitting in the dark. Once you bring it out into the light, you will see that actually someone else has dealt with it and someone else has actually come out of it. And you're able to surround yourself with wahine, surround yourself with like older wahine that have journeyed in this life longer than you. Sometimes our friends are cool, but it's a lie to say that you need all these hundreds of friends. No. You only actually need 5, and in that 5 you actually need 3. People that are going to be around you, your tribe that are around you, that can speak into that darkness, into who your identity is and who you are. And so you're not alone is my kōrero. You're not alone. what you're going through, don't isolate yourself, because there's somebody that's gone through it. And so I hope just one day that I could be that person too. So,
Kia ora.
yeah.
Kia ora.
Vai, Judith, you wanted to finish with whakatauki.
Yes, I did. Can I just quickly though, just say, here's what I want to say to 20, 21-year-old girls. There are really, really good men out there. Don't let anybody tell you anything different. But a good man doesn't say to you, girl, I think you're hot. Now can you give me your twat? But that's kaka. That's not a good man that will say that to you, because he's just only about it for himself. Now, there could be goodness in him, but he needs to express that without you delivering something extremely personal and intimate. And I just want to encourage you to value the power of who you are. But there was this quote from a movie from 2011 called The Help, and a lot of people saw it, and just 3 little sentences is, you was kind, you was smart, and you was important. You was kind, you was smart, and you was important. And the reason why that resonated with millions of people around the world was because nobody's told us that. And so here's what I want to say to you, baby. You was kind, you was smart, and you was important. And the 3 of us have had a kōrero today just to reach one wahine, one young woman, one older woman who was sitting maybe watching this thinking, nobody understands me, nobody knows what it is to be me. And what we're sitting here saying is, you met a baby, and this has been worth our time. Mauri ora.
Mauri ora.
Kia ora.